Hello everybody, this is Louis and welcome to another episode of Real Reviews by Loukprop. Now today, we're going to go through one of the condominiums or new launch that you guys have been asking. Yes, we do read your comments. And the project we'll be going through today is Verdale. Right, let's get into it. So for those who are new here, we usually analyze based on these 5 main factors: location and accessibility, development quality and facilities, competitive pricing, rental yield, and stack selection. Starting from the first point, location and accessibility. Now if we were to look at the map over here, now Verdale is located in District 21, located in the upper Bukit Timah region. It is zoned as RCR or Rest of Central Region. Now it takes 15 minutes to walk from Verdale down to the Beauty World MRT over here. And along the way, actually, you will find several shop houses here. And I think one of the most famous ones are here, along the Condominium Road shop houses where it is famous for all the good food around here. If you want more food or you want to be at the market, Bukit Timah market is just around here. Alright. As for expressways, you can see around here, it is only a few minutes drive down to PIE, and PIE will link you straight away to BKE. So it is really just a few minutes drive away from the major expressways around the area. If you want to look for more food options or shopping options other than Condominium Road or Bukit Timah Market, there are several plazas and shopping centers here, namely the Bukit Timah Shopping Centre, Beauty World Centre and the Beauty World Plaza. In fact, there will be a new integrated transport hub happening at the Jalan Anak Bukit area, which I will go through a little bit later on, whereby you have a mall, you have an integrated transport hub, all built here within the next few years. Talking about the surroundings, right? Here is Verdale. It is surrounded by nature, right? We have Bukit Batok Nature Park here. You have Bukit Timah Nature Reserve here, one of the biggest nature reserves in Singapore. So in this location, you are surrounded by nature, and if you want to, have a good time with your family in this kind of nature parks, it's very, very easily accessible. One thing to note is that this area, because of its nature parks and because it is in a landed cluster here, all right, the plot ratios here are about 1.4, which means that it's a very low density living area and buildings generally can't go above 5th or 6th floor. Now, if you are concerned about schools in the area, Bukit Timah Primary is within 1 kilometer of Verdale, and Pei Hwa Presbyterian Primary around here, alright, it's a little bit of a special case because certain blocks in Verdale are within 1 kilometer away from Pei Hwa, but certain blocks are above 1 kilometer. Right? So you have to keep that in mind when applying for primary school in Pei Hwa Presbyterian Primary, because you have to know which blocks or units to choose in Verdale. Other than that, you can see at the bottom, you have Ngee Ann Polytechnic, you have SIMHQ and SUSS as well. So this is sort of a place whereby you will be able to settle your primary school, secondary school, and if you want to go for university, NUS is just down below, a few minutes drive away. So let's talk about transformation in the area. Now the first thing we are going to be talking about is the one that I was mentioning earlier on, which is this piece of land. If you can see here, this is the Jalan Anak Bukit area, this plot of land. Right, this part of land is zoned as residential, right? And it is zoned in a special way because the government wants this to be part of an integrated transport hub. So it's an integrated development that will be built here. Right? The developer that won this is FICE organization with Sino Group, so it's a joint venture, and it was very recently sold at quite a high price, as you can see here, and they actually submitted 3 out of 5 bids. As you can see here, eventually they won out. Alright, and they got the piece of land, and the new site is expected to yield about 845 units and launch for sale at about 2003 here to 2005 per square foot. So let's keep that in mind. Now, while this piece of land will be quite an exciting development in the future in the form of an integrated transport hub and integrated development, one of the very few integrated developments in Singapore, alright, there are other transformations that we can look forward to as well in this area. Another one would be, if I were to look on the right side, the grandstand area. So the grandstand will actually be vacated by 2023. Alright, the tenants were given up to 2023 to move out, and once they are moved out, this land will become a residential plot of land. In this plot of land, you can actually build several condos, right? It is big enough to even fit, if you can see here, right? Compare these few condos here, it is still smaller than the size of Grandstand here. So you can easily fit another 5-6 condos into this piece of land that is going to be vacated for residential use. Now, why is this exciting? Because with this big piece of land being vacated and new projects possibly coming up here, the land sale will probably be actually much higher than what we are expecting right now, right? With the way land prices have been moving these days, right? We can expect the land prices here to not be very cheap, right? But if you think the Grandstand area is a little bit far to be compared to Verdale, which is over here, right? Let's move a little bit closer to Verdale. So right behind Verdale, there are a few pieces of land that's made available for residential as well. Now, with recent land prices hitting all-time highs, right, we can expect the next few developer bids for these few pieces of land to be higher than Verdale, right, based on my opinion. So other transformations that will be happening in this area include the green corridor, which we have talked about multiple times. This green corridor will actually go all the way down to Tanjong Pagar Railway Station. And also another one that is closer to home is the Bukit Timah Rochor Green Corridor. Right? This is an extension from the original rail corridor, the green corridor, that will extend from Bukit Timah Nature Reserve all the way down to Kallang Riverside Park. So these are the two nature kind of transformations that's happening in the area as well. So a quick summary. Now on the plus side, Verdale sits in an area with very low density living. Stories are very low, 6th, 5th story. And also you have several transformations happening in the area, including the rail corridor, the green corridor, right? The Bukit Timah Rochor Green Corridor. And also there are a few parcels of land that's yet to be sold surrounding Verdale, very near to Bukit Timah and Upper Bukit Timah area, as well as the integrated transport hub that's happening very nearby. But on the negative side, right, Verdale is actually pretty far from MRT. There are actually more condos that are closer towards the MRT, right? So in terms of its location, although I want to give it pretty high score, but due to the restrictions that we just discussed about, I can't give it a very high score. So the overall score for location would be 3.5 over 5. Now on to development quality and facilities. Now this developer is CSC Land Group, and if you have heard before of China Construction Development Company, which is the parent company of CSC Land Group, that's probably because you're either living in a house or know someone that is living in a house that's built by them. One fun fact is that 1 in 25 people in Singapore right now are living in a house that is constructed by CSC Land Group. So they are one of the most awarded A1 builders registered with BCA in Singapore right now. And if you can see here, take a look at their local awards and accolades, including 51 BCA Construction Excellence Awards, 7 BCA Quality Excellence Awards for the past consecutive 7 years. So they are very experienced in the construction industry in Singapore. Now as a developer, they have had only 2 projects, namely Twinville and Verdale, these 2 projects. But as a construction arm, as a main con, they're actually ranked as one of the top 10 construction companies in Singapore, as ranked by BCA as well. Some of the projects that are constructed by them include the Shaw Residences, St. Patrick's Residences, Sea Hill, and going to be built is Park Esta, Sterling Residences, Park Clementi, so on and so forth. Also, let's talk about their architect and their landscaping. The architect is P&T Consultants, which we have talked about as well in previous review videos, and also EcoPlan, which again we have talked about as well. And these 2 companies are one of the top-notch architects and landscaping companies in Singapore right now. Basically, they are award-winning, right? So in terms of architecture, landscaping, construction, if we have all these 3 factors all nailed down, I am of the opinion that this project Verdale will come out to be pretty good in terms of its development quality and also how smart the facilities will be designed in the future. Now, talking about facilities, let's take a look into the facilities itself. So as mentioned before, because they are surrounded by nature reserves and nature parks, the developer basically wanted to blend all these nature elements into the condo as well, so that it seems pretty seamless. So the theme they have gone for is pretty smart. They have integrated this thing called forest bathing, or let me just read off the text here. The concept of forest bathing, or Shinrin Yoku, a term originally coined by the Japanese Ministry for Agriculture to describe the practice of healing through being immersed in nature. So this is what they want to actually plan into their whole landscaping as well as their architecture. Now, how have they done that? Okay, so let's start with the entrance, or what they call the arrival portal. Now, one thing I like about their arrival portal, as you can see here, is that it is a long entrance into the arrival portal before they reach the guardhouse. So if we were to look at guardhouse here, all right, a lot of properties out there, their guardhouse is here, right at the entrance, and it will cause quite a jam at the outside, this road. But having a guardhouse inside here and having an arrival portal here allows the cars to come in and register with the guardhouse before going in, thereby reducing the amount of jam that's happening along what we call this D'Souza Avenue. So this is quite a smart thing that the developer has already incorporated into its design. And if we were to move further in, you can tell from the pictures, I mean, this is artist's impression, but it shouldn't deviate too far from this. You can see that they have integrated a lot of nature around modern architecture. And there has been quite some studies in this forest bathing concept that helps to reduce urban stress, a lot of the kind of stresses you experience in day-to-day life. If you go through this forest bathing kind of concept, it actually helps to heal you a little bit. I don't know much about it, but that's practically what they have incorporated into their whole design of the architecture. You can see from the pictures here, everywhere you go, there will be trees, shrubbery that's surrounding it, and I think it's a pretty relaxing scene to see when you're actually entering your home, right? So taking a closer look at the facilities in the area, you have your typical facilities as well, your 50-meter lap pool, some resting areas here, all right? You have your bathing pods, you have gymnasium, a clubhouse, function rooms, and also what they have here, you can see this, is sky gardens, a roof facilities whereby you have your teppanyaki pavilion and your sky dining pavilion, grill pavilion, all at the top of blocks 2 and block 6 around here. All right, so when people are worried about whether the BBQ or grill will affect the neighbors if you're at the top of the building, that shouldn't be the case, right? So as a summary, although as a developer, they only have 2 properties under them, which is Twinview and Verdale, but as a main contractor, they have such vast experience in Singapore and has built so many properties in Singapore so far already, and they are rated as the top 10 contractors as according to BCA. So in terms of quality of Verdale as a project, we have much confidence in them delivering a good quality product. So my score for development quality and facilities would be 4/5. So next we'll talk about competitive pricing. Now let's take a look at the map first to look at who our competitors are. Verdale is here, and in the immediate District 21 region, we can find a few competitors that they have. Namely, these 3, Forest, Daintree, and View at Kismis is its closest competitors. Alright, of course we can also look at The Link, which was fully sold on launch day, and Mayfair Gardens and Mayfair Modern. Alright, of course we will talk about Jalan Anak Bukit as well. So let's take a look at their prices. Now, because it is quite a lot of condos, I won't show you one by one, but I'll let you know that Daintree and View at Kismis, these 2 are 99-year leasehold condos. They are selling at about 1,006 per square foot. For Daintree, 1,006 to 1,009 per square foot, and for View at Kismis, 1,006 to 1,800 plus per square foot. Now for Forest, this is a freehold property. The Link as well, these are 2 freehold properties. For Forest, it is currently at 1,008 to 2,002 per square foot, and for The Link, it's about 2,000 plus to 2,400 plus per square foot. Of course, this one is a mixed development, right? Now taking a look at Mayfair Modern and Mayfair Gardens, these 2 properties a lot of people think are in the District 10 area because just slightly down at Bukit Timah area, this is District 10, right? But they are actually District 21 as well, zoned alongside all the Upper Bukit Timah condos as well in District 21. So for Mayfair Gardens and Mayfair Modern, they are currently selling at about 1,008 to 2,001 plus per square feet. So if we were to look at all their prices in general, All right, let's first compare with Daintree and View at Kismis. So for these two, because they are 99-year leasehold, you can see that Verdale currently is selling at a price of 1,006 to 1,900 plus per square foot, which is in comparison pretty fair as compared to Daintree and View at Kismis. Both are 99-year leasehold and are ranging about the same kind of pricing, 1,006 to 1,009 plus per square feet. Comparing to the freehold properties, for it is at 1,008 to 2,002, which means that it is at a healthy range of 200 to 300 per square foot above its 99 years counterpart. The link is a little bit more expensive because it's mixed development. In this area, you can see that Verdale is not priced too high or too low. It just meets the standards of the projects around here. It is priced similarly to the 99-year leasehold new launches in the area in Daintree and View at Kismis. So with the price that I just shared with you, we can see that Verdale is quite fairly priced as compared with its competitors. Of course, if you were to compare to another two 99-year leasehold projects in Mayfair Gardens and Mayfair Modern, it's slightly cheaper, slightly more attractive, all right? But in general, I would say that Verdale right now is pretty fairly priced. It is not overwhelmingly better than any other project in the immediate area. However, one thing that I want to share with you is this. If we see the land sales that were done for Verdale, the break-even price based on its land sale is actually 1,639 per square feet. So what does this mean for Verdale? This basically means that some units in Verdale selling at 1,006 plus per square feet is actually not making any profit margin for the developer. Even if you were to use 1,008 to 1,009 per square foot as a buying price for Verdale, all right, some of its smaller units there, developer is only making about 12 to 18% of profit margin, which is a far cry from what normal developers would want in terms of profit margin, which is between 20 to 25%. So I would say the pricing for Verdale in terms of developers pricing, they are pricing it pretty fairly as well. Some units are not even making money. And as mentioned earlier on, because of the Jalan Anak Bukit land sale, this will be launching at 2003 to 2005. So you will see buyers coming in to buy this property above 2,002, 2,003 per square foot. Also, like I mentioned before, the few pieces of land that's behind Verdale will likely be sold and launched at a much higher price than Verdale as well. This gives Verdale a chance of having some capital gain potential in the future. So in terms of competitive pricing, my score would be 3.5 over 5. So now let's talk about rental yield. Now in the immediate region of Upper Bukit Timah and Bukit Timah is usually a pretty good rental area because the tenant profile there is pretty good as well. There are a lot of expats in the area, especially because there are a few international schools in the immediate region. You can see just to the right of Verdale, this bunch of international schools. There are some at the bottom here as well. So the tenant pool and tenant profile over here is really pretty good. Now let's take a look at the transactions around the area for rental. We will be using a few condos that have already been built here, namely, if you're looking at the Creek here, this project, for their two bedders, they are renting about 2,003 to 3,001 per month, compared to Terrain, 2,005 to 3,001 per month. You have Signature Park, which is a pretty old condo. They are renting at about 2,003 to 2,008 per month, but their two bedders are pretty big, about 1,000 square feet. Next, we can take a look at South Haven 1 and 2. Alright, these two projects are renting about 2,002 to 2,008 per month. So if we were to compare all these rental prices, let's try to use between 2,002 to 3,001 as a basis for renting for Verdale in the future. Noting that Verdale will be the newest one in the next few years. So we will be using a very conservative amount, like I said earlier on, 2,002 to 3,001. Now, if we are looking at two bedders in Verdale, it is between 1.13 million to as high as 1.4 million. So using the rental compared to the purchase price, we will be getting a rental yield of about 2.2 to 2.6% rental yield, which, to be honest, is not great, but it's not too bad as well. It actually helps you to cover your cost. So I can't give a very high rating for rental yield here, although the tenant profile and tenant pool here is pretty good. well. So I can't give it a very high rating, just maybe a passing mark of 2.5/5 for the score for rental yield. So last point, stack selection. Now, as usual, we'll be using these 5 factors in determining these various stacks, whether they are ideal or not. And also we'll be ranking it in terms of ideal stacks, average stacks, and not so ideal stacks. So if you're looking at the screen right now, these are your ideal stacks, your average stacks, and your not so ideal stacks. Now, one of the main reasons why some of these stacks are not so ideal is because they either are facing direct west sun or west sun, facing the road and potential future construction from the next few land pieces that might be sold in the future, or generally they are too close to in terms of block to block distance, right? Just an additional note, if you are choosing stacks or blocks that can be within 1 kilometer of Pei Hua Presbyterian School, all right, the stacks and blocks that you should be looking out for are from blocks 6, 8, and 10. Only these 3 blocks are within 1 kilometer of Pei Hua. So my overall score for stack selection would be 3/5. So after consolidating all the scores from the various segments, our overall score for Verdale is 3.3/5. Now, I know a lot of you have been leaving comments in the comment section asking us about various new launches. I'm sorry I can't go through everything, I can't review everything. But if you are really interested and are curious about the project you have in your mind, right, send us a DM, contact us. We'll be sure to reply you. And if you like our content today, please leave a like on the video, share the video, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next Real Reviews. Bye!